The Pundit saluted the master with reverence. Narendra, Rakhal, Ram, Hazra, and M, who had come with the master, seated themselves in the room as near the master as they could, anxious not to miss one of his words. At the sight of the Pundit, the master again went into Samadhi. After a while, still remaining in that state, he looked at the Pundit and said with a smile, "Very well, very well." Then, addressing the Pundit, the master said, "Tell me how you give lectures." Pundit: "Sir, I try to explain the teachings of the Hindu scriptures." Master: "For the Kali Yuga, the path of devotion prescribed by Narada is the best. Where can people find time now to perform the duties according to the scriptural injunctions? Nowadays, the decoctions of roots and herbs of the orthodox Hindu physicians cannot be given to a fever patient. By the time that kind of medicine begins its slow process of curing, the patient is done for. Therefore, only a drastic medicine, like the allopathic fever mixture, is effective now. You may ask people to practice scriptural rites and rituals, but when prescribing the rituals, remove the head and tail." Footnote: Head and tail, the non-essential parts. The allusion is to the head and tail of fish, which are non-essential. Footnote ends. I tell people not to bother about the elaborate rituals of the Sandhya, as enjoined in the scriptures. I say that it will be enough for them to repeat the Gayatri alone. If you must give instruction about scriptural ceremonies, do so only to a very few, like Ishan. You may deliver thousands of lectures, but they won't make the slightest impression on worldly people. Can one drive a nail into a stone wall? The point of the nail will sooner break than make a dent in the stone. What will you gain by striking the tough skin of a crocodile with a sword? The sadhu's water bowl, made from the shell of a bitter gourd, may visit the 4 principal holy places of India with its owner, but it will still remain as bitter as ever. Your lectures are not helping worldly people very much, and you will realize this by and by. The calf cannot stand on its leg all at once. Now it drops to the ground, and now it stands up. So, it learns to stand firmly on its legs and walk. You cannot distinguish a lover of God from a worldly person. It isn't your fault, of course. When the first onrush of the gale shakes the trees, it is impossible to distinguish one tree from another. The mango from the tamarind, for instance. Without having realized God, one cannot give up rituals altogether. How long should one practice the Sandhya and the other forms of ritualistic worship? As long as one does not shed tears of joy at the name of God and feel a thrill in one's body. You will know that your ritualistic worship has come to an end when your eyes become filled with tears as you repeat Om Ram. Then you do not have to continue your Sandhya or other rituals. When the fruit appears, the blossom drops off. Love of God is the fruit. The rituals are the blossom. When the daughter-in-law of the house becomes pregnant, she cannot do much work. Her mother-in-law gradually lessens her duties in the house. When her time arrives, she does practically nothing. And after the child is born, her only work is to play with it. She doesn't do any household duties at all. The Sandhya merges in the Gayatri in Om, and Om in Samadhi. It is like the sound of a bell. Ta, a, na. The yogi, by following in the trail of the sound Om, gradually merges himself in the Supreme Brahman. His Sandhya and other ritualistic duties disappear in Samadhi. Thus, the duties of the Gnani come to an end.